welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to do a full set of this water nail with the hibiscus flowers. So let's go ahead and get started with the design. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So as you can see, I'm using this lighter blue color. Now this is not a gel polish. This is a marble, like an alcohol marble color. And I remember that I had it, so I tried to use this to maybe change the color a little bit. And I was originally going to use this by itself, but I realized it was a little bit too sheer. So I wanted to add a little bit more opacity to it. So I'm going to take the blue color that I used in that first nail that I did to try it out, and I'm going to use a very small amount of the gel polish, and I'm just going to go over it. And I really want to make the nail kind of more on the sheer side but still more opaque. So you can see here it does kind of change the color, but it's not going to be as dark as if I did 2 coats of the blue. So it did change it up a little bit, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more on the lighter side, but I really like how it came out. So now that I have this blue, I'm going to cure it, and I'm going to take my white gel and mix it with my top coat. This time I'm going to do a lot less of the white and more of the top coat to make the white as sheer as possible. Now, throughout this video, I did lose some of the footage. I was not recording when I thought I was. So you will see the full set, but some parts are missing. So hopefully you don't mind. So this design I found on YouTube, and I've also seen it on Instagram. And I believe I don't know if the original person that did this is called the seventh beauty house or something, like Seventh House of Beauty. So I'm not sure if they were the ones that first came out with this design, but this is a recreation design, so this is not my original idea, but I think it's super cool, and you can do a lot of different things with gel just like this without even having it to be blooming gel. So that's really cool. And yeah, this is not my design, just want to let you know this is a recreation. So far I am really liking the background, and I did a very minimal amount of the white, so it does make a big difference. Now you can do the full nail, but we're obviously going to do just half of this now because we're going to do like a little ombre. So what I found the trick is, you want to place the dot, but you want to place it and kind of leave your little dotting tool there for just a second, because that's what creates those big puddles, because you're dispensing more of that gel polish onto the nail. So I really love how it's coming out so far, and it's really easy, but definitely practice ahead of time. So the least amount of white, the better. If you have too much and you start seeing that streakiness, you've added too much, and you want to just drop it in ever so lightly. And it's really just having more contact with the surfaces and letting more of the top coat float onto the nail is what's going to give you those bigger pools, the bigger puddles or circles. So again, here I did kind of random again, even though I said maybe I shouldn't have done it random, but I kind of like the idea of having it randomly placed, because that kind of made it more like the water design, right? Like it's not perfect. So I really like how this came out, and it looks so pretty. I was also wondering how it would look if you did like the foam kind of like on the edge, instead of having an ombre and just having like the sea foam at the edge, kind of by the edge of the water. So that would be really nice too, but we're gonna do this ombre design. So I already did the pinky, but I did the pinky off camera to kind of try it out. And now I'm just going to take a small bead of this acrylic. This is Perfect Nude by Valentino. I have my number 12 brush and my Young Nails monomer. And I just blend and try to ombre this acrylic into the nail. Now I just cured the gel and I didn't encapsulate it or do a top coat or clear coat or a matte top coat or anything like that. I just went in straight with the acrylic after the blue nails. And I'm really upset because I just realized that I lost for the actual water nail part, I lost the footage for 2 of those nails. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, so now that I am doing this application here, we're just going to go ahead and do all of the nail instead of alternating. So I'm going to pick up a small bead of acrylic, set it down, and just wait for it to set a little bit, kind of shimmy it up if I don't want it to be too low. And I start blending in the acrylic to the nail and trying to make it as smooth as possible, the transition, and at the same time not trying to get it all the way to the tip of the nail. I don't want to cover it, but I do want to make sure that also I'm covering that line where the blue starts. So I'm just pressing it down, and once you do that first bead, the rest of it is pretty easy to do because you're just blending the bead into what's already there. And again, you're not going all the way to the tip, so you're not going too heavy-handed on it as well. So I'm going to do this ombre, and it's really nice because the fade just really makes the design stand out. And you can do this with gel, a rubber base coat, regular gel, or with acrylic, but I really personally prefer acrylic, especially when doing ombre, because it's just so much easier. So I did about 3 beads, maybe 4, on each of the nails. And then after I blend it all in, I just take a look at it from afar. If I need to add a little bit more on the corner or whatever, I'll just add a little bit. But I just want to make sure that the blend is seamless, and once you encapsulate it, it is going to look a little bit better. It's going to look a little bit more smooth. But you just want to make sure you're not covering up all of the blue, so that way it is an ombre and not just like a blue tip. So I'm just blending it in, and this is what it looks like when it is ready to go. Now I'm going to use my Speed Clear from Young Nails, and I'm going to encapsulate the nail. Now you can do really any method of encapsulation, but I usually do like a 2 bead. So I do the bead that goes in the center of the nail, I blend it up and down, and that usually creates like a thin tip. So then I do a tip bead to kind of blend it all in. And you just want to make sure you're like brushing it upwards to blend it into the nail, because we're not trying to make it thick. We're just trying to add a body to the tip of the nail where we have no acrylic. So there's different ways of doing it. You can do a larger bead or smaller beads, but the smaller your beads are and the more you're adding, it's just more work. But also if you do one large bead, you can just trap all the bubbles in there, so you just have to be careful with how you're working. But yeah, this is super easy to do this design as long as you have the right acrylic as well, because you don't want it to be too opaque, because you can see this one really hides that line. and it still blends in nicely. So make sure you have the right product to actually ombre the nail. So I was going to mention something, but I completely forgot. Yeah, so this is a really cute design, and I just love how it came out, and I want to try it out with different colors as well and see what kind of designs I can do using just gel and having it bloom out. Even using just blooming gel would be really cool. So I'm going to finish up encapsulating the nails, and they came out really smooth. I did not file the nails. I try to work as smooth as I can on my practice hand, so that way I don't have to file the nails. But of course you can file and shape them, but I just left them how they are, and I put on a top coat so that we can do the design. So of course you can leave them like this. You can add like little fish or a little star, little gold charms, really make them like sea themed, which I think would be really cute. But I don't have any of those charms, so you can definitely add something like that if you have it. But now that I'm looking at it, I do like this blue color. I really do. Okay, so now that I am almost done encapsulating, you can see they just creates a nice and even surface on the bottom, and you're blending it into the nude color that you did the ombre with. So now that I am done encapsulating these nails, this is what they look like. They're so pretty, and of course they are matte. So, oh my gosh, this hand is so jiggly. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put on that matte top coat, and this is the hibiscus flower. So I wanted to do it off camera to kind of try a little bit harder, right? So I am gonna do 2 dots and then 1 on top, and I'm really trying to fit the 5 petals in, but it's kind of hard because I feel like I was doing them too close together. So this one is really small, and I think it would be better if you make the petals further away. But I have another video where I show you a little bit more in depth on how I make this flower, and it comes out a little bit better. So again, you're just doing the 3 dots and pulling it towards the center, and I like it kind of like messy looking instead of just like 2 lines connecting it. It just looks a little bit more like natural, and it looks really cute. So I'm going to do again the little swoop and the little dots. I don't really know if this is how the like flower is supposed to be, but it looks really cute. Let me know what your thoughts are and if you would try this design. And thank you for watching. I also recorded a little video of some natural lighting so you can see the difference.